Hey there, welcome to Ready Set Jam Duels, the head-to-head game design competition where we bring together two game devs, give them the same set of restrictions, and just 48 hours to make a game for our enjoyment. In this competition, you're the judge, so you'll watch the video, play the games, and go vote for your favorite. More on how to vote a little later, because right now it's time to meet our designers. AcidicDuck is a game dev who's taken part in many a game jam, with one of those games being taken even further and is currently in early access on Steam. And up against AcidicDuck, we have MightyJor, a game dev and content creator making games, videos, and even music packs. With a hefty backlog of previous game jam games, he's ready for this competition. But AcidicDuck has a pretty good backlog themselves, and they're not going down without a fight. This certainly isn't the first rodeo for either of these designers. But what's a game jam without a theme? I asked the community for theme or restriction ideas a while back, and this one comes from Not Jim. AcidicDuck and MightyJor will have to make their game with the theme of 4 colors. The challenge is set. Both of our designers will have a total of 48 hours to spend over the next 2 weeks to create their game. Let's let them introduce themselves and show you how it went.
Hi, I'm AcidicDuck Games, a hobbyist game developer from the UK. I'm currently working on an early access game on Steam called Plinko Panic that I did in fact make for the most recent BIM Jam late last year. Plinko Panic is a roguelike pinball game where you go through a dungeon-like level system and use a selection of pinballs you buy from a shop each turn until you either die or reach and then kill the final boss on each level. Each pinball has a completely different effect that allows for an on-the-go strategy that hopefully keeps each run entirely unique. Whilst I don't do much game dev over there, I also do stream over on Twitch under the same username. With the theme of 4 colours, the first thing that obviously came to my mind was something like Simon Says. Without just having the game be that in its entirety, I couldn't really think of much I wished to do and decided to move on from that train of thought. You've Got Mail is the game I decided to make for the Ready Set Jam. The game became some form of casual mail sorting game where you catch the envelopes as they drop down from the top of the screen and you have to put them in the correctly corresponding pipes. There are 3 days, and on the later days there becomes conditions that you need to be mindful of as you play the game. What I mean by this is that you may only be able to sort the letters that have been stamped or even stamped with the correct type of stamp. I think I'd recently played through Papers, Please, which I can see played some part in the way the day and condition system works for the game. I'd like to think my art style is fairly bright and colourful, and I'm pretty happy with how the game looks visually, even with it being as simple as it is. If you wish to try it out for yourself, You've Got Mail can be played in browser and for a Windows download over on my itch page. Whilst wholly accidental, it is possible to also play You've Got Mail on a mobile web browser.
My name's Jordan, aka MightyJor. You can find me over on my YouTube channel where I upload a variety of video game content, including devlogs for my game jams, a podcast with my brother where we review indie and community games, and other weird videos whenever I have something fun to explore, like my most recent one on the strange world of Wordle clones. I'm also making a puzzle game called Slide 'em Up that you can wishlist on Steam right now. With a theme of 4 colors, it would be easy to think of it more as a restriction than a theme, and just pick a 4-color palette. And while I did use a 4-color palette, I also wanted to make something that worked only because there were 4 colors. So my idea was that you could transform the world back and forth between night and day. Each time of day has different blocks that are active, so it's actually similar to something like that cool time travel level from Titanfall 2, only this time it's a 2D puzzle box Metroidvania. You also unlock different abilities like jumping, double jumping, and changing the time with a button press. Though this is really just a way for me to keep the gameplay fresh over the 10 or so minute length. Because the game only uses 4 colors, the inactive platforms blend into the background, making it look like you're switching between alternate dimensions or something. There's a ton of particles as well that help you more easily distinguish where the invisible platforms are, since some areas have you jumping back and forth between dimensions mid-jump. The soundtrack I wrote was heavily inspired by the game Fez, since it has a similar puzzle box level design and mechanic of altering the world. I made it so that when you interact with the world, it plays a random note that's in the same key as the song, so it feels like you're dynamically creating the music as you play. Overall, I think the music turned out great, as did the entire game, and if you want to see more about how I made it, check out my devlog after you finish the video. Hope to see you soon!
Instead of using 4 colors as a restriction in You've Got Mail, AcidicDuck has chosen to make it the focus of the game. You're starting a new job for the not very nice CEO, Arthur Quackins, who informs you that they are short-staffed and all you have to do is sort the letters into the correct colored tubes. Day 1 is pretty standard, only really difficult if you have color blindness issues, which the game does make a joking remark about in the Day 2 letter from the CEO. I legit laughed out loud reading this line because I was already thinking this game would be hard for someone with color blindness. The letters fall from the hopper at the top, and if you don't catch and deliver them, they cycle back through the system and fall again. Each time they fall through the system though, they're worth less points when you do place them correctly. After Day 1, you're given a score, and in Paper Please style, Day 2 gives you a new thing to think about. On this day, you only need to sort the letters that have stamps on them. But the Day 1 drop rate seemed to lure you into a false sense of security, because in Day 2, they really let them go. The other challenge is there really isn't anything you can do with the unstamped letters, they just have to keep falling. So it gets hectic fast because the unstamped letters are in the way all the time. On Day 3, you have to be even more specific and only sort the first class letters with red stamps, which gets very difficult even playing on easy. I do really like the feature that from the menu you can play any of the 3 days with any difficulty at any time. So my thoughts. I really like the approach to the theme. It's a clever way of interpreting 4 colors. The art is super vibrant and has a really great retro feel to it. I really like on Day 1 how you're able to keep up with the drop rate for the most part, but I do feel that on Days 2 and 3 where everything goes crazy, it becomes a bit more of a grab a letter and hope it's the one you need. And unfortunately, the stamp Z order seems to be messing up a little bit sometimes, so the stamp from a letter behind another letter will be rendered in front, making it a bit harder to identify the letter you want to grab. I did have fun playing and just embracing the chaos of it all. Sadly, Days 2 and 3 are always the same objectives, but there is only so much you can do in 48 hours. The game takes you through a fun story with, again, humor that actually made me laugh, which is pretty rare in a Game Jam game. These are my scores for the 3 days playing on easy. Let me know how much better you do than I did. Just a quick heads up, this game can get a bit flashy at times, so if you have sensitivities, please be advised. Eventide starts out with a suggestion to play with headphones, and it's not kidding. This game surrounds you with sounds that all work together super well. Using 4 colors as a visual restriction, MightyJor has created a platformer that starts off without the ability to jump. The up arrow will launch you into the air so you can pick up your first ability, which allows you to return to a previously touched checkpoint diamond. And the first time you use this ability, you hit the time changer, triggering the day-night shift, which opens up a new path to take in a bit of fun level design. From here, you travel through more platforming puzzle rooms, picking up more abilities along the way. At the next power-up, you gain the ability to jump. Then, after that, the ability to trigger the day-night shift yourself, as long as you wouldn't be overlapping a solid block after the swap. And the final power-up you get is a double jump, which allows you to do some tricky platforming to finally reach the key and the end. Okay, my thoughts. I really enjoyed this. The art is very minimal and abstract, but it works so well with all the emphasis being on the contrast between the colors. The audio polish is fantastic, with small touches like the player jump sound being in key with the music at any given time. I'm also really impressed with the level design. Everything wraps around and cuts through each other and has some really clever sections. But there were a few places where I had difficulty figuring out what I was supposed to be doing, and some finicky movement you had to do a couple of times to get around some certain blocks. And I will say the shifting between day and night can quickly cause a bit of eye strain, especially when you get the ability to trigger it on command, and some of the jumps start to make you switch it very quickly. Overall, I really enjoyed making my way through the world, collecting the power-ups, and eventually the key. And those are the games made by our contestants. Now it's time for you to decide which one is your favorite. There are links to both games in the description box below. Go check them out and see which one you enjoy the most. For 7 days after this video is posted, there will be a link to a community poll where you can vote for your favorite. After 7 days, the game with the most votes will be declared the winner, and I will make a YouTube short announcing who that is. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell if you want to make sure you see that when it comes out. While you're at it, go check out AcidicDuck and MightyJor for awesome games and tons more content. Links to their socials will be down below. They both do amazing work and you won't be disappointed. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, please give it a like and maybe leave a comment so I know to prioritize more of these in the future. This video is brought to you by my amazing Patreons who I cannot thank enough for all their continued support. Especially my top tier patrons like Baron Earth, Vimlark Games, Nightfall, Motzi Makes, Nazar Salim, Neon Thriller, Pixelator Gadsy, Salty Pretzel, Scott Hansen, Soapy Gnome, Some Dude, Straight Up Gruntled, and Warren Stephen Rose. You're all awesome people and I cannot thank you enough for the continued support. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed. I'll talk to you the next time. Have a good one. Later.